George here, and from Raising Roots Abroad. And today I'm going to talk about something that's really close to my heart. And I'm going to have ChatGPT here helping me discussing things with me on this podcast, and I'll have a woman's voice here along with me. But today we're talking about from America to the Philippines, how my move transformed my life. And we're going to be going into things like just some contrast between America freedom and Filipino freedom, and how constant surveillance in America affected me more than I realized. What it's like to be truly accepted by your spouse, flaws and all. How Caroline's unconditional love became the foundation of our home. The daily moments that showed me what real partnership looks like, and why I'll never go back to living under constant watch. Okay? This isn't just about moving to another country. It's really about discovering what happens when you find both external freedom and unconditional love in the same place. And don't forget, every Saturday I have a new video release and just had one today. So check out the channel, you guys. It's a very good video. It's a very good video. It's the best one I've done to this date. It's very emotional. Um, okay, so what I'm going to do, if you give me a moment here, I'm going to go to YouTube and just put all this in so we have the right title and everything. And you guys, in the meantime, let me know if you can hear me well, if I sound good or not. Let me see if I can get over here. There we go. Okay, let me just set up this live real quick, you guys, and I'll be right with you. I have to give it a title and a video description, and that's what I'm doing. Then we're going to start talking about this stuff. And I'm like I said, I'm going to have ChatGPT help me. It's going to be very interesting today. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do what I'm going to do today. So tell me if you guys will like this or not. All right. And let me pop in the thumbnail here. All right. And let me do one more thing. Okay, I'm just going to get some tags and we are on our way. Just let me know if you can hear me well, you guys. Okay. All right. Last thing. Let me pop in these tags here. Playlist is going to be live streams and replays. Done. And the tags. All right, guys. Too many tags. Okay, I think we're good. All right. Let me save this. All right, let's go back to Riverside. That's where I am. All right, you guys, let me pop in the chat. Hello, 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 Leanne. Leanne, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me well, and then we'll get started here. And this is Jaff's 1973. Hello, guys. I'm a Pinoy from Blue Mountain, Sydney, Australia. Well, welcome to the channel. All right, today is going to be very interesting what I'm going to talk about here. Okay, so what I want to talk about, as I mentioned, you guys, is from America to the Philippines, how my move transformed my life. And the first thing I want to discuss is the freedom in America compared to the freedom in the Philippines. Okay? And I'm going to have ChatGPT, I'm going to turn this on right here. Hello, ChatGPT. Are you ready to do my live stream with me? I'm online right now talking about the title From America to the Philippines How My Move Transformed My Life. And I am talking about right now having freedom of movement. For instance, the police in America, they are always watching, looking out behind something, trying to give a ticket or something. You're on constant surveillance. In the Philippines, it kind of lets you just be free. Let you free. There's no one trying hiding, trying to give you a ticket or anything like that. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about what I just said, ChatGPT? Can you hear me? It's a poor connection with ChatGPT. Can you hear me? Okay, we'll just go on here. Okay, thank you, Jaffs, and thank you, Leanne, for telling me the sound is good. So, you guys, the constant surveillance that I'm talking about of movement in America is you always have pressure on you. It feels like politically, socially, you if you pick the wrong side, if you kind of hold conservative values. I haven't been back in over 10 years, so it might have changed now, but I kind of had to hide my conservative values a little bit. Couldn't talk about things, couldn't talk about anything relating to God, um, or if I liked a certain political candidate without being attacked. The other thing is, um, and I didn't realize this till I came to the Philippines. The Filipinos, compared to the police in America, it's very different. The police in America, as I mentioned, are looking for quotas to give you tickets, and for very small infractions, even if you roll a little bit on a stop sign, if you don't stop at the stop sign, they're very. It's just interesting because life is kind of like that there. It's very serious with very small things that are focused on, where it leads to a lot of rational thinking. And here in the Philippines, it's kind of relaxed. It's very relaxed. And it took me some time to get used to it, but I love it. It's, you don't have uh, the police here. What they do is they drive around and they're not looking to give you a ticket or anything like that. They are, sometimes they'll do road stops where they'll be on the side of the road. And if you're driving a motorcycle here in the province and you don't have your license or some kind of insurance registration, you might have to pay a fine. They might take your motorcycle to you. You pay the fine, but that's I haven't had any issues. Like you can just speed by them and they'll just be driving. No one pays attention to those things. It's very laid back. And the other thing that I noticed a big difference is my wife. She in the Philippines they call the wife the light of the house. She's the light of the house and she kind of runs the things in the household, and the man is more in charge of work. And it's very, my wife doesn't like micromanage me. She accepts my good and bad behavior. She realizes we all have good and bad behavior. She's conservative. She's very spiritual, believes in God. And if someone does something bad to her, she might feel hurt and get upset, but she's so forgiving. And that's what I notice a lot of Filipinos that surround me. If someone does something, even some bad behavior, they get in a fight, whatever, they forgive each other. And then they realize, we're all just human like that. Not everybody's like that, but overall, the culture is like that. It's very different. And there's nothing perfect. The Philippines has its issues, just like America does. But if you're a conservative person, if you're looking to have a long term relationship or a family, this is a place to definitely consider. So, Leanne, what do you say? That's true. Yeah, she agrees with me. You guys, I want to get this working. You wonder why my phone is here. I want to get this working because I had it set up with ChatGPT. ChatGPT, are you there? Can you hear me? I'm on a live stream right now. Do you want to assist me with the live stream? Can you hear me, ChatGPT? ChatGPT, can you hear me? I think it's working now. Can you hear me, ChatGPT? Do you want to assist me with this live stream? Yeah, the husband's the pillar. There's a good one right there. Yeah, in the Philippines. This is from Jaff's 1973, who's in Australia, I believe. He's a Pinoy from Sydney, Australia. So that's a good point. Wife plays as the light of the house while the husband plays the pillar. In America, I don't understand the rules there. That's why I didn't really have a relationship there for like over 10 years before I came to the Philippines because I didn't understand the rules. And the women that were around me, they were just, I don't know, doing a lot of crazy things, going with a lot of guys. To me, that's crazy. Going with a lot of guys partying, and I didn't want any part of a woman like that. I wanted a serious woman that wanted a family, and the family foundation in the Philippines is very strong. If you get married, mostly the woman's going to stay with you. As people say, there's no divorce, but there's ways that people do get annulments if they have a lot of money. There's ways to do that, but for the most part, there's no divorce. But people, if they don't get along, sometimes they will separate and just stay married, but they're separated and go their own ways. Maybe for the kids, they'll do something. Can you hear me, ChatGPT? Okay, it's still not working. Hello, hello. Do you want to take part in this live stream? Okay, so we'll just keep talking till this comes on. We were practicing it was working great, but I don't know what happened now. Okay, so I can hear you now. So I just heard you, ChatGPT. So let me fill you in on where I am on the podcast right now. So I already talked about America freedom compared to Filipino freedom regarding surveillance in America with the police, and and I talked a little bit about my wife accepting my flaws and all. How now I'm on how Caroline's has unconditional love became the foundation of our home. And then I'm going to talk about the daily moments that showed me what real partnership looks like and why I'll never go back to living under a constant watch. Do you want to ask me any questions related to that? Even though I don't think the viewers can hear you, but I can.
What would you say is the biggest shift in your mindset since moving to the Philippines? How has your view
Okay,
on freedom changed since stepping away from the continent?
let's stop right there. And I'm going to answer the first one, like what happened with Caroline and I that brought us closer together, something, an emotional moment, emotional time, and I'll talk about that. Okay, so let me talk to the community and I'll get back to you, ChatGPT. So you guys, could you hear ChatGPT talking? Let me know if you could hear those questions. But I want to talk about a time where Caroline and I, where what happened to us and what brought us closer. And I've talked about it in videos, but there was a time in Cebu when I met Caroline. Shortly after we met, we were together maybe for a couple months, and I got sick with amoeba. And Caroline took care of me. She didn't really know me that well, and I had, I mean, I was so sick that I was passed out for like 3 days where I just had high fever. I was laying on the floor and I was basically pooping myself. And imagine that. She took care of me. She cleaned me up. And before I passed out for 3 days, they said that my eyes turned white. And I remember I couldn't breathe and I was panicking. And then I don't remember anything after that. But they said I fell and Caroline tried to catch me. And when she tried to catch me, she shielded me from hitting the ground, but she ended up spraining or hurting her arm very badly from catching me and then slamming it on the cement because that's where we landed. And ever since that point, she took care of me. When I came to, I didn't know all the things she did, but people told me. And I never met someone like that in my life that would care for me like that. There was no one like that in America that would ever care for me like that. And it made me realize that this woman loved me. She couldn't fake that. I had nothing to help her, to give her. I wasn't the type of foreigner that had money at that time. I had pretty much lost everything. And Caroline did that. So that's the answer from ChatGPT. If you guys can hear her, what she said here, not as clear. Okay, but I'm coming close, so maybe you can hear. But she's gonna ask me questions because it's a female voice, and then I'm going to relate the answer to you guys. So this is, I don't think I've ever seen this on YouTube. So maybe we're the first ones to do a podcast with ChatGPT on a mobile cell phone. Okay. All right. I'm ready for the next part you asked me after that, ChatGPT. You said something about my mindset.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
You asked me something about my mindset, what changed my mindset, maybe being here in the Philippines.
Right. I was curious about how your mindset shifted after moving to the Philippines. What would you say was the biggest change in how you view things, like freedom, life, or your role as a father and husband? Um, was there a specific experience or moment that made you realize how much your perspective had changed since leaving the US?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. So, my perspective changed as far as being a father in the Philippines, and I can even compare that to the US. My perspectives totally just changed, and I didn't realize that till I'd been married to Caroline for a number of years. And when I saw how, I didn't really know what my role was as a father here in the Philippines because no one ever told me that. And because Filipinos won't tell you when they're teaching you, they won't tell you things. It's just they'll let you experience it, good and bad. You go through it, and then they'll just maybe say something to you, but they're not really going to teach you. You're just going to be humble and just observe what you're doing. And if it's something wrong, they might tell you. But in America, my role there as a father is much different because I was a single father um, with my daughter.
Powerful observation, George. It sounds like the experience of being a father
Just give me a second. I'm answering the question.
Could not understand what you said.
Let me answer the question to my viewers here and I'll get back to you. Okay, so in America, when I was a parent, it's very different because you're all over the place.
I'll be here when you're ready to continue.
You're all over the place in America because you're being pulled. There's no, since most people are just, they're not like conservative. The people that surrounded me, most of them weren't conservative. So they had a way to bring up their children where they just let their children do a lot of different things that I thought could get them in trouble. And then when I was in America with my daughter in California, in Templeton, California, in a Tuscadero, that's where I was. Um, I at that time there wasn't really like playing outside. There wasn't. There was.
It sounds like you were
I'm going to
experiencing
move this for a second because she's talking.
back in America, especially.
Whoa.
How did that contrast with your experience in the Philippines? Did the way people in your community raise their children shift how you
I'm going to shut off ChatGPT because she's talking while I'm trying to deliver my message. So we'll get back to her, but this is pretty interesting. So I'm just comparing and contrasting, trying my best to do that because of the question she asked me. So in America, the role of the father is not really well defined. And if I, when I was with, I was married at one point in America, and when I was married, I didn't have a defined role, and my wife was always wanting me to be different, like wear different clothes, act different behavior, or she would leave me. And then in the end, she left me, right? But I'm not saying it's all her fault. It's just she wasn't like spiritual. She didn't follow the values of God, and she didn't the responsibilities she didn't she just wanted to work, and she wanted me to stay at home, and that was what she really wanted to do. But I was a nurse, and I was making a good, my actual salary, and I put in videos like 80,000, but I was around 100 to 150,000 a year at the highest point. Whereas if she worked at that time, if my wife worked, she would be making minimum wage. So we we decided at the beginning it was best that I worked, but later she wasn't happy with that and she wanted to work. And so she ended up, for whatever reason, her own reason, she had her own reasons, and I had my own faults. But she ended up leaving and moving far away. And so the rules of the parent, like, they change with when there's separation and divorce, and it happens so much. It's underreported actually, but people from America, probably in the Philippines, know that the divorce rate is very high in America. So I was more worried about just balancing the relationship so it would survive, um, and then just making sure my daughter had all her safety needs met, like that she had food on the table, that she'd get to school, that she would have her needs met when she got home from school. And it was just survival. And then I would, in between that, I was working nights, working 12-hour nights, and then coming home and balancing all that. So I don't really know what my role was there besides survival. And I felt isolated from my relatives because we all live so far away, which is very common in America. Um, Relatives live far away for a lot of people, and you don't see them very much. And you're not, my family's not close. We weren't close to each other. At least I wasn't close to my family. And I regret that, but it's just the way it is. Okay, so I'm going to compare that to the Philippines. So in the Philippines, when I came here, what I had to get used to once Caroline and I got together, we had a relationship, and then the kids were involved. Is I didn't know my rules here either, and I just watched other fathers, like in her family, how they would treat the children, things that they would do and things they wouldn't do. And in the province here, discipline wasn't heavy-handed, like you might see in America. I don't know if it's not like that anymore, but when I was growing up, it was heavy-handed. The parents would hit the children and such. And that's fine for that time. And in the Philippines, I think there was a time for that, but I think it's changing here too. But what I noticed was there was the children came first, not the parents' needs at all, which is very different than in America. In America, I didn't see that a lot. Yes, there's good parents there, of course, but there's a different kind. I'm going to just say it as I see it. There's a selfishness there, and it's in the culture. It's in the culture. And how I know that is because when I came to the Philippines and saw the sacrifices that the parents will make, that most parents I saw, not everybody's like that, but most parents I saw, um, Caroline's brothers and sisters that have kids, and then our neighbors, they will sacrifice for their children, like they will die for their children. And if their children, like things I saw that I wasn't used to, was when the children's crying and it's crying for a long time, the mother might pick up the child and say, "You want Jollibee? You want a toy? You want to go for a ride?" And then they will just take the child and do that, and the child will stop crying. Well, I wasn't used to that because I wouldn't really see that where I was from. If the child was crying and wouldn't stop crying, the most of the parents would like kind of go crazy. They couldn't handle the stress because their life is already so stressful. And I'm not putting down America at all. It's just it's stressful there. And the Filipinos that are in America that are working either working as overseas workers, a lot of them are watching the channel. They'll see these things, and then also the Filipinos that are married to an American or they're citizens there, maybe Filipino couple citizens there. You guys know what I'm talking about because you'll see those things, and you probably can say better things than what I'm mentioning. These are things just off the top of my head, okay? So, and the reason I would never go back, let me get to this comment here. Voice is not clear. Are you talking about my voice now, or are you talking about ChatGPT? I think you're talking about ChatGPT. I hope my voice is clear. Please tell me my voice is clear. um, but there's so many reasons I'll never go back, you guys. Okay, let me just start with this, you guys. There's many vlogs that you'll see of expats that might be in a relationship or they might not be. The ones I watched are the people that aren't in a relationship, and they're putting down a lot of expats, calling them simps because they're leading with their wallet and all these. They're letting the woman control them and things like that. Yeah, there's people like that that they call simps, but there's people like that that are learning. They're learning when they first come here. They don't know, and maybe they're just so desperate to meet someone because they're so lonely. They do things like that that people might call stupid, but they will learn when they're here. They'll learn, and maybe they'll lose everything and fall and then get back up, or maybe they'll just go back to America and talk bad about the Philippines because they got burnt or something. But it's not like that if you meet the right person. The right person I'm saying is if you wait and you're patient and you just see if you meet with someone, you don't rush into it. And I'm not giving advice here. I'm just telling you what happened to me. This is my experience. And you meet the person and you see that they really love you and they don't care if you I mean they're happy you have if you have money or and you can support the family, but if something happened, they're not going to leave you because you're not doing the dishes or you're not doing the laundry and they're complaining about that. They're going to stay with you. You know what, you guys, there's one thing I saw maybe about 8 years ago, and it was in a an Arabic type, like maybe I don't know, like Israel or Saudi area or Palestine. There's like some area in the Middle East there, and there's war going on there, and the husbands were helping the wives escape to safety. So the Middle Eastern wives, a lot of them were escaping to safety. And I'm not saying all of them, but the ones that were on the news, they're showing. The news can be just show. just little bits, and it's not really the truth, but just the things I saw was enough. Because what I saw was the Filipino wives refused to leave their husbands who were Saudi. They refused to leave. They stayed with them, even though there was a risk, a high risk that they were going to get killed. And maybe they got killed. Maybe some of them got killed. They stayed with them. They had a helicopter come in there, and the family, the kids, and the woman were escaping there. But the Filipino wives did not leave their husbands and they stayed with them. If that's not impressive, I don't know what is. Okay? So, anybody, yes, your voice is clear. Okay. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you so much. So that's my example of a Filipino wife, and there is I mean, there's wonderful wives all over the world you can meet. But in my view, from what I've seen, and yeah, you can call me prejudice, there's no wife like a Filipino wife, like a Filipino wife, if you find the right one, if you find the right person that matches you. And the person that matched me is Caroline. And some of the traits that she has, you guys, I want to share with you. In America, my experience was, and I'm not putting down America, just sharing my own personal experiences. And this relates to finding my purpose in my life. If if I didn't meet my wife, if God didn't lead me to my wife, I'm just going to say, because I believe in my heart it was God, because that's what I believe. If if God didn't lead me to my wife with all the mistakes I've made in my life, and there's so many mistakes I made in my wife made me a better man. And why she made me a better man? Because she was patient with me. She loved the hate out of me. She loved the anger out of me. And you Americans that are watching this, I think you'll understand this. I used to be the person that would, at least once a week, would raise my voice and yell because if I didn't agree with something. I was the person that would nitpick if the kids didn't do something like how I saw it should be done. But over the years, I am not, I am more like a Pinoy. I'm laid back. I'm slow to anger. It came out like it comes out when you're cleansed from those things. It comes out the complete opposite side. So your anger turns to love and patience. Your jealousy and hatred turns into acceptance, acceptance of yourself and acceptance of other people. And even when people are doing bad things to you, you're slow to react. You're slow to defend yourself. That's what I learned here. That's what I saw from my wife. I don't know how every Filipino is. I'm not going to generalize here. I don't know how every person is. But the people in my life are really good, you guys. They have good and bad behavior, but their good outweighs their bad because their good is such love, acceptance, forgiveness, not forcing their beliefs on you. And that is a huge one to me, you guys. I'll say that again, not forcing their beliefs on you. It takes a wonderful character to not do that. And you people that are somewhere in the globe, somewhere in the world where people are forcing their beliefs on you, you'll understand what I'm saying. They're judging you not for your character, but because of your skin color or because of something you believe or something you did that they felt was wrong, and they threw you out. They labay you. They say in the Philippines labay. Here in the province labay, like basura. They throw you away like trash. My family never did that to me, even though when I first got here, my behavior, I would say, when I look back at it, is I'm ashamed of my behavior because some of the things I thought and some of my actions that maybe my family, it's not a big deal to them, but for me, I'm ashamed of that type of behavior. Even when I was talking about someone, maybe I'd be judging their character. I have no right to do that. But when I first came here, I was so used to being bombarded with so many so many angles and words and phrases from my own country of always having to defend myself to survive. I wasn't allowed to promote in my work because why? Why? Because I'm a white person. I wasn't allowed to promote. I worked for the state, and the state was looking for different types of people, and I didn't match those types of people. When I went to college, I wasn't accepted for certain scholarships because of my skin color. And in America, they don't call that racism because I'm a white person. But I never was a victim, you guys. I never took the victim route. I just said, okay, that's the way it is. But when I came to the Philippines, I was judged by my character, and I appreciated that. They accepted me. They didn't care what I was because they will love you if you come here and you want to do good and you don't want to cause problems, and if you want to stay here, you decide you want to stay here, maybe you want to get married and you want to stay here, they will accept you no matter what you are. If you're white, you're black, you're Asian, if you're from the Middle East, if you're from Europe, any place in the world, they're going to accept you. And they're going to accept you, and as long as you're not causing trouble. And better yet, if you accept the culture here, if you're going to live here, you should accept the culture. But no one is going to force that on you. It's up to you. So, anybody have any comments about what I'm saying? Let me check back with ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT, I just talked about being accepted here in the Philippines, how my wife accepted me and didn't throw me out like trash for when I had bad behaviors and accepted me good and bad, thick and thin. She's always, and we've been together for close to 15 years now. So that's what I just talked about. If you have anything to say about what I just talked about.
Between America and the Philippines. In the US, it sounds like there was a lot of external influence and a sense of being pulled in different directions by the community, while in the Philippines, there's more of a quiet observation and learning through experience. That shift in how you had to learn fatherhood, more through humility and reflection rather than being taught directly, seems like a powerful shift in perspective. It also seems like you've learned to embrace a different kind of role in your family, one that's less about directing and more about observing, leading through example, and adjusting based on the community around you. This shift in fatherhood could be a great part of your podcast or video, as it highlights the cultural differences and the evolution of your mindset from an active, involved father figure in America to a more laid back, adaptive role in the Philippines. What do you think?
Yeah, you guys, I'm talking to ChatGPT if you want to hang around, and then I'm going to give some more information. Yeah, I agree with what you said, and that's what I shared. Do you have anything else you want to ask me, ChatGPT, or anybody in the community you want me to answer? I would love to do that. And if you guys like this kind of like a podcast kind of thing, I'm going to find a way so you can hear the voice because I have headsets right now, but I'm going to work on my sound system here so you guys will be able to hear the voice of ChatGPT. But she's going to ask me, and you guys free to ask me anything here on the podcast. So ChatGPT, ask me whatever you want.
I'd love to hear more about how your own relationship with Caroline has influenced the way you parent. You mentioned earlier that her unconditional love became the foundation of your home. Do you feel that her approach to love and family has shaped how you father your children differently from how you were raised? Or do you see your fatherhood evolving more because of your new environment in the Philippines?
Okay, I'm going to answer those questions. Okay, so let me get back to the community and answer that. So ChatGPT just asked me, is my did my with Caroline's on? with Caroline's unconditional love and acceptance, did Caroline's love and unconditional acceptance, did that change the way I parent here in the Philippines? Did I see things different in my parenting style because of her parenting style? And I will say yes to that because the way she parents our children, sometimes she's very laid back, but sometimes she's strict. Like she's very strict with if our if our children need to be clean, they need to take a shower, they need to brush their teeth, they need to do that, and she'll get after them on that. And I believe in the culture, it's very cleanliness is very important, and and you'll and then I just shut off because she just keeps talking. If you guys could hear the sound good, it'd be so great. So I got to fix that because this would be a great kind of podcast. So anyway, in in the Philippines, they dress very neat, very nice overall, and even if they don't have like the money to buy expensive clothes and things like that, just simple clothing, they will dress neatly and nicely for most people and be very clean. And I know Caroline Filipinos, they like that in their partners too. We should be clean, take care of ourselves like that, right? They're going to accept us, but we should do our part. But as far as parenting, I wanted to be flexible with my role because just watching how she's doing things, and then I don't want to contradict her um, by doing something else, you know. So I just let her do that because that's the female role to take part of that, and then I'm the pillar, like the support for protection if any trouble comes about, to give them rides like up the street to school, to give Caroline a ride to work. So for me, I really like it because since the woman is the light of the house, they're the ones taking care of making sure someone is cleaning, someone is washing. It might be them, or they might hire someone, or it might be one of the kids, or kids taking turns. Depends on the household. But this is what I noticed in my household. Caroline might do the dishes. There might the person that's the yaya in the house, they might be doing the dishes, or it might be our child. Sometimes if they're all busy, if I said, Caroline, I'm going to do the dishes, she'll say, no, 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 don't do it. But I don't say it. Just like other Filipino men, I will just look where I need to step in, and then I'll go ahead and do the dishes. I'll go ahead and cook something. I'll do something, and then later after I'm done, and maybe Caroline saw that I did that, she'll say thank you, like she appreciated it. But if I would have told her I'm doing that, like American style, hey, I'm doing the dishes or something, then she's not going to let me do that. So that's what I've learned is to be quiet and just out of love, just like they love me, I'm going to look where I could help them and just naturally do that without having to, oh, you did a great job or something. Just like other Filipino men, you just fill in. So in the morning, Caroline will wake up the kids. Even though I'm up, I'll be doing some work, and then we'll get coffee. We'll see each other in passing, and then she's getting the children ready for school, along with our help help here, who's also our family friend. Um, and so they'll be doing that, and then they'll call me and say it's time for them to go to school. So I'll go in the car and make sure everybody gets in the car and then take them to school. If they're going to a tutor or somewhere else that's related to school, I'll take them, and I might make 3 trips or something, and then that's my job to do that in our household. That's my job. No one told me I have to do that. It's just Caroline. No one told her she has to do that. It's just the way it is, the way it flows. It's ebb and flows of the Philippines. And that's what I love about that. And I'm not worried about things that I worried about when I had a partner in America. And it was just the partners that I had met. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I was usually um, getting in trouble and scolded for things I wasn't doing right, things that I need to do better. Um, it just it just wasn't fun like that. So that's why I wasn't with someone for over 10 years in America before I came here because I wasn't interested in anything like that. And that's what drove one of the reasons that drove me to America, I mean, to the Philippines, was finding it wasn't like I had to run there. I was so desperate or something like that. Like I've had comments that said, "I you couldn't find someone in America, so you had to go." And in their words, a third world country. That's disrespectful to the Philippines, and I don't care if you say that to me. That's disrespectful to the Philippines. Philippines is not a third world country. The Philippines is an expanding country that is the Philippines, and it's whatever it is. It's the Philippines. You can't describe it as a third world country. It's a great country, and the Philippines take pride. Filipinos take pride in their country, and things are not perfect. They have complaints about their country, but for me, it's wonderful. And what I liked about the Philippines, why I came there, is yes, in America, I would not be successful with the relationship there. So you could say I was a failure. That's fine. But I was very successful in the Philippines with having the right match, with the right mindset. And people have told me in comments, well, your heart is almost Filipino. Your heart's Filipino. Your behavior is almost Filipino. And maybe they haven't. They told me, I don't know. I'm not. They just said we haven't seen that a lot from someone that's not from the Philippines, and that really makes me feel good when I see remarks like that because I I I I'm happy that I'm doing things in the right way here. Oh, hi, Caroline. I'm doing a live here. Just show your face. They can't hear you because I have this on what I did with ChatGPT. So there's Caroline, and oh, what's that? Onza Santo? That's okay. What is it? What's Santo? I ate this before. This is fruit. Do you guys know Santo? I don't know this, you guys. I've been here 15 years and I'm still learning. So you dip it in salt, yeah? Later, later. Oh, yeah. Aslom kayo, yeah? Do I dip it in salt or? That's really lami. Syrup. Lami kayo. You guys leave a comment if you've eaten these. I think Filipinos common food, yeah? For me, I never had this, but this is delicious. Syrup. Lami kayo. Tamis. That one's a little aslam, but so lami. What's the name of this one? Same? This same? Then that's sour, this is sweet. Okay. This one's sweet. Yeah, there's salt on here, you guys. Here, Mom, that's good. All right, that's Lamikayo. Oh, Mom, Leanne said, hi, Mom, Caroline. Here, look at the comment. I don't know if you guys can hear her, but because I have the headset on, so that I don't think they can hear you, Mom. She said, hello, Mom, Leanne, I just got home. Okay, let's see what else they say here. Thank you, Mom. Salamat kayo. Yes, Santo. Okay. Eat with salt. Yeah, that's really good, you guys. I never had that before. Have you guys ever had dragon fruit? Here in the Philippines is really good. So anyway, let me get back to what I was talking about. We're done with ChatGPT for today, you guys. I'm done with this. Watch the replay of this, you guys, if you haven't seen it. Um, but I'm going to. I just want to look at how we're doing here. Let me switch my account. Okay. So thank you, Leanne, for all the comments. So yeah, Caroline really just it's just so balanced here. So and what I mean in the video I made a video about my wife doesn't ask me to do dishes. And most people understood what my message was, but some people thought I actually never do dishes, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like our relationship is not 50-50. Like 50-50 is like you're measuring exactly 50-50. That's what I was used to in America, which I never could be successful in that type of relationship. Our relationship sometimes is 10-90, sometimes 20-80 if you're going to measure by percentages, sometimes 30-70, sometimes 40-60. I don't ever think we're 50-50 because Caroline, the Filipina woman just she goes the kind of person she is. She just they work so hard to make everyone to meet everyone's needs that I could never be 50-50 with her because that's just amazing, that kind of behavior. But I do my best to just see where she needs help with things, what I could do with the kids. Um, if she needs to rest, maybe take the kids somewhere so she can rest. And other Filipino men, I they could speak to that too because I learn a lot from them. But it's the heart. It doesn't matter what culture you're from. Either you have a heart for serving others or you don't. That's the bottom line. And if you have a true heart for serving others, then you don't think of yourself so much. Of course, we think of ourselves. We have to make sure we're happy, we're comfortable, our own selves. But we're in service to others, and it might be just your family. For me, it's like every day, wherever I go, I just look for ways I can help people. Things come up. Sometimes I'll be driving, and even a few months ago, someone dropped their helmet, like an extra helmet, a motorcycle driver, and they're driving and they went a little far. So I picked up the helmet and I started to go in their direction and they came back and I gave it to them. Just small acts like that. Those are no big deals, but he was happy that I did that for him. So his helmet didn't get wrecked. Another time, a baby lost their cover and it was a nice cover. It fell in the road and all these cars were coming. So I just stopped and picked it up and it's just things I've seen Filipinos do also. And to me, it's not a big deal, but the person's very happy. And those are just simple acts of kindness that we can choose to do every day, right? In America, the thing that people didn't like towards the end when I was leaving, I'd always hold doors open for my mom, or hold doors open for my dad. So the way I was taught, if a woman was walking in, it could be a man too, but if it was a woman, you always open the door for them to let them in first. It was kind of the way I was raised. Well, when I was doing that in America, the woman would yell at me, "Don't open the door for me. Don't open it. I don't need your help." And it's just kind of crazy those things to me. Just you would say that out loud to a person that's just trying to assist you. Um, I don't know. So anyway, I don't see those kind of behaviors in the Philippines at all. And the other thing I learned here in the Philippines, when it comes to family, not only family, but when you talk to other people, be careful your words. In American culture, we're not so careful our words for the most part, and we say things that are very hurtful. In the Philippines, they might say sharp tongue. If someone says something that's hurtful to someone, they might say you have a sharp tongue. Well, in our culture, I can just say this from being away for it from so long and being in another culture that does things in a different way. I'm just open to learning that way. Their tongues are soft for the most part. They're not saying things directly to hurt people. Even if they know you and they're joking with you, they're not going to joke on something that's going to really hurt you. Even if they know things that they could say to hurt you, they won't do it. Family's like a little different. You joke with each other and just say crazy things sometimes. But I like that about the Filipino culture. They watch their words carefully and they don't like to hurt people, even though they could. Now, the Filipinos behind the back, like the crab mentality part, I won't speak to that, but I am aware it exists. I just like to focus on the positives. There's sometimes there are comments that tell me to talk about those things that the Filipinos do that are bad. Well, I'm not Filipino and I won't talk to those things because I don't think it's my right. Because the saying, have you heard the saying, don't throw stones when you have your own glass house, or don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. So my house is glass. And in the Bible, it says you have splinters in your eyes. So you have to clear, you have big splinters in your eyes. So how can you see other people's splinters or other people's faults? So for me, of course, I will notice things that other people do, and I will think in my mind if that's good or bad, but I won't judge them in a deep way. I'll just see they did that and then just be on my way, observe the behavior. And then I'll observe my own behavior. But I have so many things that I'm working on myself that I'm not actively working on them, but I'm aware of them. The thoughts that pass by my mind, the thoughts, some of the good thoughts that pass by in my mind, and then some of the bad thoughts that pass by in my mind. But I learned over the years with prayer and meditation, contemplation, deep thinking that I am not every thought that I think. I am my thoughts, the ones that I act on. But those thoughts that I act on are my choices. Those thoughts that come into my mind before, and I'm not saying it's the Philippines that did this, but it's the quietness and the pace of life in the province that push me into revelations and healings that we all have. But for me, what I will tell you, I speak to those because of my channel. If I didn't come to the Philippines, I would not have waken up to the things that I woken up to in my life because my mind had a chance to relax, to unwind, and to not be so rigid. And I will compare it to a tree like Kahoy, like the wood, the tree. Maybe the oak tree's branches are very straight and very rigid. And if a strong wind comes and a storm, those branches break easily. Whereas a willow tree, if you ever see those, maybe in the Philippines they have the bamboo trees that are a certain way, but let's talk about the willow tree. The willow tree is very flexible and it bends and goes. If snow comes, it will bend. The snow might hold it down for a minute. When the snow melts, it bounces back up. And the willow tree won't break like a rigid tree will. Well, I thought to myself, why can't my mind be like the willow tree? Why can't my mind be flexible and not so rigid? And in America, I would say, even though I was kind of laid back person, my mind was rigid. My anxiety controlled me. My addictions to work, to success, the American style of success, what success as seen as going to work, working so many hours, having a side hustle, never giving up. I would work so many hours and then I would drive a truck and go pick up inexpensive items at garage sales in America and then sell them to other people online on Craigslist when that was big many, many years ago. And I never could relax. I was always in the hustle, you know. And that is not really where God wants us to live, in my opinion. Uh, because I asked myself when I was thinking, where does work come from? Did God make work? Did God make the 40-hour week, the 80-hour week, the 120-hour week, the 20-hour week? Who made those hours and who made those weeks? Where did they come from? So those are all man-made things. Then the conveniences we think that are convenience, be it the camera I'm using, the mobile phone, the laptop, the PC, the television, the cars. What would happen if we never discovered those things? We'd probably still be hunters and gatherers. We'd probably be farmers and laborers on the farms, hunting and gathering, just eating what we would either kill or someone in the tribe would kill. So I think that's a nice life. I think that kind of life is a nice life. And yeah, we can never go back to that, right? But people think technology and convenience is wonderful. Well, I'm just going to do it in a simple comparison and contrast between the Philippines and America. You have Americans that have in other places in the world. And again, I'm not putting anything down. I'm just comparing and contrasting. And then you can make your own decision by what I say. In America, America has technology. The America and other places in the world, China, India, Russia, other places in Europe, they have wonderful technology. Many places in the world. They have fast internet. They have AI technology that's unreal. They're using it in many facets of life and work. But in America, why are people sick with anxiety, sick with loneliness, sick with isolation? Why do many people, go to a psychologist, a psychiatrist to talk to them because they have no one to talk to? Why do they have to get medications to sleep at night? Why are all those happening if technology is such a wonderful thing? Why is convenience in technology? Why is it not healing all that? Why is it not taking care of all that? But you come to a place like the Philippines that people will call a third world country, which I will never say myself. Philippines is much more than what people describe it. Why a simple place like the Philippines province? You can come and maybe you don't have the convenience of fast internet. You don't have the convenience of eating everything, all different types of foods that many people complain about that come here. But you have love. You have compassion for other people, your fellow community members. You have love of the family. You have love for God. Then, when people are doing stupid things out in the community, people might say something like guapa, guapo, like you're handsome, you're pretty, but they're never raising their voice to them or yelling at them, or they're just observing. And they might say something like that, but otherwise, they're not going to say anything. They're just observing, letting people make mistakes, realizing that they're not perfect themselves. And what I notice about the Filipinos, even with all the faults that humans have, even the Filipinos have those faults too. The Filipinos are slow to anger for the most part. And the Filipinos are patient with behaviors. And even if they don't like you, they're not going to attack you. And I'm talking about most people. I'm not talking about crimes and things like that. I'm talking about the community. And it's a lovely thing. But you would say the Philippines is not high in technology. It doesn't have fast internet. It doesn't have AI coming out of all the businesses. In the Philippines, usually the small businesses that are around that are doing well, it's family run, family owned. And then they hire people to work with them. But most of the businesses are family run, family owned, and the family members work there. And they might have other people helping them that they trust. It's very different here, you guys. And if your mind is open to learn a new way and you don't think like your way is the only way, like your religion is the only religion, your your country is the only way to live and everyone else in the world should live that way. If you don't believe that, then come to the Philippines. Come go to other places in the world and investigate yourself. To me, the Philippines is the greatest country in the world. And you can laugh at me, you can agree with me, you can think I'm a fool, but I have my reasons. I'm a transformed man. I transformed my whole mindset here. And it's not because of religion, you guys. It's because I slowed down my mind and I was able to see my thoughts and see the good and bad of my thoughts. And then I was able to lasso my ego and lasso my ego like an ox, like a horse, and tame it and then ride it. And then it became my best friend. And that's what's happened here in the Philippines. And I'm grateful for the people that surround me that they had patience with me and allowed me to find my own way and never lied by me, never threw me out like trash. Like in America, so many times I was thrown out like trash. Yeah, I didn't have good behavior. Some of the times I had bad behavior, but I didn't deserve that. No one deserves that. In America, there's people there that helped me also. I want to say thank you to Kathy and Sean Rutherford, my brother Sam. Um, they helped me. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been successful here in the Philippines because I was able to return back to America and work and send money back home, just like many overseas workers do in the Philippines. That's the other thing, you guys. Maybe I'll make a video about that. Is besides family, the Philippines for family, God, the faith that they have here, that I learned here. Um, besides the community, the family, which is not nuclear family, it's an extended family. America never had the extended family, even in the 50s, in the 40s and the 50s. Didn't they had the nuclear family? But the thing I realized that I didn't think about a lot was when I became an overseas worker, and I worked just like the Filipinos do when they go to different countries in the world, and they work so hard to send money back, remittance, and they send back billions of dollars to their families here. How many countries do that, you guys, for their families? How many countries sacrifice their own life? And how many countries have people that will sacrifice their life so that overseas worker could go to college to learn their trade or had the chance to get a certain type of license? They gave away their life, they sacrificed their life to work to give money to that person to be able to go to school, to be able to get a profession. And then a lot of those people have gone overseas. Not just educated people, but a lot of those people have gone overseas and sacrificing. There's a lot of them, not everybody, but there's a lot of Filipinos overseas that have sacrificed their whole life to live in America, to work in America, to work so hard because their purpose is to send finances back to their family so their family can live comfortably. That's amazing. So that their family can have money for health issues, sickness, so their family can have conveniences that aren't the same conveniences in places like America. God bless the Philippines. Long live the Philippines. And you guys have any comments before I sign off from this live? Any comments you want to say before I go? Okay, you guys, we're going to say bye for now. This is not the best time to do a live, but I'll make some videos from this live. And we'll just say bye for now. And thank you, community. Thank you for the people that always come to these. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Boomer Tube, Jaffs 1973, and Leanne, who's always here, who's on every single video leaving comments. Thank you, Leanne. I wish you good health and happiness. And more lives like this. Okay, Leanne, I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Thank you so much for the feedback. Bye, Mom. Bye, Mom, Leanne. Bye, everyone. See you on the next one.